Two Saudi women who defied the nation's driving ban have been arrested. And get this, they're going to be tried in an anti-terrorism court. Apparently in Saudi Arabia, it's akin to terrorism if a woman drives. So officials say they aren't going to be tried specifically for defying the driving ban because the driving ban isn't actually written down on the law books, although it's something that has been spoken about by religious leaders. But they say that they're going to be tried for their social media posts about women driving. So it's not terrorism for a woman to drive, thank goodness, are they not kind to us, but it's terrorism for a woman to discuss on social media how she drives. Look at the clash of cultures here, too, because imagine, like, the thought of a woman in any Western nation driving and saying something about it casually on Twitter. The idea that that's a crime is nowhere in consideration. It's so out of bounds and so insane. It's like saying, you know, if a guy comments about eating a bagel, you violated a law. No, you violated a terrorism law, and you're going to be tried specifically in an anti-terrorism court. It doesn't make sense in so many ways. So the oppression of women in Saudi Arabia is through the roof, and the Washington Post explains this in more detail. They say, quote, each Saudi woman has a male guardian, typically their father or brother or husband, who has the same sort of legal power over her that a parent has over a child. She needs his formal permission to travel, to work, to go to school, or get medical treatment. She's also dependent on him for everything: money, housing, and, because the driving ban means she needs a driver to go anywhere, even the ability to go to the store or visit a friend. They say it consigns women to second-class citizenship, which is unfortunately common in a number of countries, but goes a step further in Saudi Arabia. Saudi women have many of their most basic rights reduced to probationary privileges, granted only if the man who is assigned as their guardian feels like granting them. And because women are typically forbidden to interact with men who are not family members, they've got little to no recourse beyond that guardian. They almost completely lack political rights as well. The restrictions go beyond the law. Women are often taught from an early age to approach the world outside their male guardian's home with fear and shame. Now, to show you how deep the rot goes, listen to this. They say, a 1980s educational flyer, as it's called, still posted at a school, warned against the dangers that threaten the Muslim woman, such as listening to music, going to a mixed-gender mall, or answering the telephone. It drove home that danger with an image of a woman in a full black burqa being stabbed in the chest with a kitchen knife. So they're saying, embrace your slave master, because your slave master is the only one protecting you from the big bad world, which involves you driving cars and listening to music. This is the lowest of the low of the low. And stop and think about this. Saudi Arabia is one of the U.S.'s top allies. So whenever America makes an argument, we need to get involved in Syria, we need to get involved in this place or that place. Why? Because in this place, they don't abide by democracy and freedom. And we need to bring democracy and freedom to Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan and all these places. When they make that argument, you know it's bullshit. Why? Because one of our top allies is one of the biggest tyrannical powers in the country, one of the biggest theocratic powers not in the country, in the world. They're one of the most anti-democracy, anti-freedom governments you could ever imagine, you could ever conceive of, even from a hypothetical, theoretical perspective. And we trade with them like nothing, right? Here, we need your oil. Here, take our money. Use that money to further suppress women. Use that money to try innocent people in terrorism courts. Use that money to behead people, by the way. We're all outraged that ISIS is beheading people, as we should be. But at the same time, our ally Saudi Arabia is beheading over a dozen people. Fucking crickets on that issue in the media. When it's our ally, we turn the other way. We don't give a shit about what you do. We support you no matter what. When it's our enemy, we highlight all the negatives and we speak about it like we need to do regime change or get in there and change stuff. The reality is, whenever we talk about regime change, it's not because we want to bring freedom and democracy to a certain place. That's nonsense. It's because we want a puppet dictator who will do our bidding, and if that puppet dictator begins to suppress people or oppress people or kill people or take away rights, we don't give a fuck because at least they're supporting us. And Saudi Arabia is the proof of that.